Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Queer in Present Danger. My name is JB. I am one of your hosts, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Tyler and Tig. How are you guys doing today?
Hello.
Listen,
Happy Hump Day.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Tig Hirndriok. I'm dealing with the world. How about you, Tyler?
I am currently alive.
really, at this point, that's kind of one of the best that we can go for.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on. It's fucking crazy. And let's just dive right in. So if you've been living under a rock for the last couple of days, then you might not know that there was an assassination attempt on the former president's life on Saturday. And yeah, so
But guns aren't the problem.
Yeah.
It's not the rifles.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go ahead and just jump into the one part that I think we've all kind of settled on, which needs to be said out loud for everybody to know. Our official stance is political violence in a democracy is unacceptable. This is a horrific act, and this is not the direction this country needs to go down, to start using violence against people to resolve our differences. We've heard that many times already from everybody talking about toning down things. And I will reference that again in a minute when we get to our second subject. But it basically is something that is abhorrent. It is terrible, and it shouldn't happen. So that was something that we had talked about and wanted to make sure we were very clear about. But then, as Tyler said, we also have our opinion about just gun violence in the United States and the fact that it's amazing that this even occurred.
it's
kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Really.
It's a lot.
The exact same guns we were trying to control.
Yeah.
Magazine, bullets.
Yeah.
Imagine
ability to purchase and access, and like this was something the guy had 6 months. His dad had bought 6 months earlier, and yet he had easily able to obtain it, easily able to obtain the ammunition and all of the things necessary to make this happen. The one thing that I think we've also talked about, and I'll jump into, is the fact that we're not going to go down the conspiracy theory trails about all of this. There's been dozens of them tossed out, and the only things that I had questions about were why an elevated position was left unprotected, and why in the name of Christ there was a fucking 30-second long period where you didn't move the man that you've been trained to move seconds after it happened. Because I don't care how beautiful of a photo propaganda wise he was to be able to stick his head out there and throw his fist in the air with the perfect silhouette of the flag behind him. For anyone that's ever watched even a movie about Secret Service and how they're supposed to respond to that, his ass would be on the ground. His ass would then be in the air, tucked under the arms of everyone that was currently flattening him to the ground. And then all of those photographers who were able to get those beautiful photos, he would never have had his head exposed. He would have never had his body where any access to him getting injured could occur. So my questions are, how the hell did they screw up so bad to let this kid crawl up there when there's all kinds of videos showing that they alerted the police to him climbing up there? That's an unbelievable failure. And then on top of all of that, on the other side of it, how is it that Donald Trump was able to convince people who have been trained for years to tackle him to the ground, pick his ass up, shoe or no shoe, and then run the fuck over whoever's in the way to get him out of there and into a protected space? You're going to let the man where you don't know if it was one shooter or if half the crowd had guns. I mean, it's a Republican thing. Half of them probably did have guns. But anyway, where that's a different discussion. But you're telling me they let these guys get these beautiful moments for these fantastic photos instead of just knocking them the hell out as they knocked past them to get to the car? No way. There were failures on both sides of it, and a man's ego got to have a glorious moment. That's my final opinion on that.
Yeah. And
Tyler,
you want to go next, and I'll go after you?
Yeah, I mean, one other point to that is there were snipers on the other side that hesitated. If they knew that someone was there, they knew that they had a weapon, why didn't they immediately take him out? Immediately neutralize. That's what they're trained to do. Whether that be right, like, I don't really like killing people, even if they're about to commit an act of violence. They could have like shot a knee out or something that to like incapacitate them. But seriously, like,
and they're
why
given
did you hesitate?
The all clear for that. Yeah, they're given the all clear that if you see a thing, you are allowed to remove that threat. That is what they are trained and told to do. So doing that, and then the video shows that he not only had his scope on him, he peeked over it to verify what he was seeing. The shots rang out and he immediately went down, didn't move his weapon, and fired. And that ended the threat. So it was on the guy's face from the moment that from several moments before the actual shot occurred. None of those guys are meant to be pointing at him anyway. That's what the close guard detail is supposed to protect. They're supposed to be aiming away from him. So if any single one of them is suddenly pointing toward the president, that's a threat. That's how they're supposed to treat the snipers in the area.
And why the heck would you peek over when you're looking down a scope that gives you magnification? Like, that doesn't make... There's so many things about this that just don't make logical sense, especially with the military training that all of these individuals received. How could that many people fuck up that royally? Period. It just doesn't make sense to me. Or really anyone with any sense of logic.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes this so frustrating is what it did in the sense of
it gave him a narrative to write.
Yeah. Like, sorry, yeah. It gave him a narrative.
I mean, it did. In the same way that 9/11 gave Bush W a platform to and a reason to call to violence, an assassination attempt does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of who did it, what their reasons were. When the person's not alive, they can't speak for themselves anymore. So they can create whatever hell story that they want, and we're just going to accept it, because if they have a commission of people that are biased and are determined to take it down one particular route, then that's what's going to happen. Look at any report that has ever been commissioned.
Yeah.
It is just
a pursuit of the narrative.
Yeah. And now they have this perfect photo that they can use that basically is a mockery of the soldiers whenever they were whenever
Iwo
they
Jima.
all had the flag and they were pulling the flag up.
Yep.
I'm gonna say normally I try to inject a bit of humor into all of these episodes, into this show, because it's heavy stuff, and laughter is the best medicine. I don't have anything right now.
Yeah. And then, sorry, go ahead.
And when with respect to the photo, what it did, which is what stress is making me my brain literally go crazy, is it made him look strong. It made him look powerful. And meanwhile, the other side of the coin, we have, President Biden, who looks like, for lack of a better term, he looks weak. He looks feeble. And then you find out today he's got COVID. So it's like, oh, great. Something else that for a subset of the population, they're going to feel like this is another reason why we need, why we can't vote for Joe Biden. He's weak, he's feeble, he's, regardless of the things that he's done, regardless of what he has, ways that he has made this country better and ways that he's at least attempted to address some of the issues that every single one of us has mentioned, has said, it is, there's this, and I'm sorry that I'm frustrated but it almost is like in one fell swoop, without a single vote being cast, Donald Trump has won the presidency. And for me, that is terrifying. I am a Black, queer, non-binary individual. I am everything that MAGA hates. And I have to figure out how I am going to navigate living in this country under this man with no guardrails in check. Because in 2016, there were guardrails. He didn't have those these times. His VP pick is literally... somebody else talk.
I don't understand how any of these people are just like, kissing his ring, sucking his toes, whatever you want to call it, when he has like literally bullied every single person that has ever run against him, ever. Yeah. Like, I mean, and he's been vile, absolutely vile and vicious, and I don't get the dissonance.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to, I guess, what my final point on it would be is I can feel a level of sympathy for the idea of someone uh, surviving being shot at. But that sympathy stops the moment after I realize that it's the same person who mocked Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was beaten within an inch of his life with a hammer, who called immigrants vile scum, who has actively worked on trying to deregulate every single um, policy that we have against climate change, against uh, all of our commitments to our allies, and has worked on essentially dismantling the United States as a leader in the world. In his 4 years, we fell from all of the pedestals that the 44 other people had built, or 43 other people had built up for
No,
him.
you said right, 44.
That was right. Okay. All of those people had built him a platform that held the United States as a beacon of hope, of guidance, of leadership in the world for democracy. We've had our stumbling blocks, for the love of God, we have. But in 4 years, that man made it to where damn near every one of our allies couldn't trust that we'd be there to help them. And nothing is more apparent than whenever he's regularly talked about how great dictators are, giving credence to the Kim family in North Korea, who regularly are treating their citizens as just mindless minions from their earliest ages, to treat them like a god, where he's supported the Chinese leadership and still tries to make jokes about them, but is happily going over and talking about how great of a job Xi Jinping has done, even though he's been basically genociding the Uyghurs, and how Putin is not a bad guy, despite the fact that he has launched a unprovoked war against a sovereign nation. I don't have to separate the two. I can absolutely be like, man, it sucks that your rhetoric and your anger and your just vehemence that you've stoked in this country, the fact that you tried to send a crowd of people to overthrow a democratically decided vote so you could remain in office. And people can have their opinions about whatever the hell he said. But everything that led up to that moment on January 6th was instigated by him. So having all of that, no, sir, I don't forgive you. And I think you were miraculously saved through all of the incompetence that happened on that day. And you should treat it with the fact that your attitude is what created the environment where someone tried to put a bullet through your head. You set the stage. That young man thought he was doing something. No one knows, because no one knows anything about the freaking guy. Registered Republican who donated $15 to a Democratic super PAC. No one knows exactly who the hell this guy really is, and it's one of the most confusing things, because he doesn't have anything saying he was doing it for such and such reason. But the idea of karma is a very real thing, and I think it just winked at you. Maybe the toning things down, like I said earlier, and trying to bring the country together should be the goal. And I'd love to pivot from here to the RNC, which is our next topic, because there were more than a few people in the Republican Party who used the day and a half in between the shooting and the start of the RNC to talk about bringing down the temperature, to cool things off and bring the country together, who then, over the last 2 days, have stepped on the stage and called the Democrats and the liberal left the clear and present danger to the United States. You cannot tell me that the Republican Party wants this country to come together when you speak out of your ass trying to garner sympathy and then go back to stoking the fires of revolution and the quoted, "It will be a bloodless revolution so long as the left lets it be." That's intimidation. That's terrifying. And that's where I think JB and the rest of us all are coming from. The stage has been set for a terrifying next 4 years and longer if they have their way.
And I think, to me, the part I asked you guys how you were doing, but I didn't necessarily say how I was doing. I'm sad. I'm anxious in a way that I have not been since 2017. And those people who are longtime listeners to any of my shows, be it KC Caffeine, anything, know what life was like for me in 2017. I'm scared. I'm terrified in a way that is palpable. But I'm also angry. And I'm angry because there is a level of hypocrisy that comes from the MAGA. I'm not going to say Republicans. I'm going to call it what it is. From MAGA telling us it's time to turn the temperature down when you are the ones who have been systematically turning the temperature up for the last 12 fucking years, if not longer, since 2008.
Reagan. I'm sorry.
Right? Yes, but with
Definitely 2008.
With the election of Barack Obama, you took the temperature that was at 350 and put that shit on broil. And now you were telling us it is time to lower the temperature.
I believe the word that they used back then, and that was back then, was vitriolic. We need to stop the vitriol.
Yeah.
And do I condone? I don't condone violence of any kind. I like to say that I do. Anybody who knows me know I like to talk like I fight. I don't fight. But when you don't get to dictate how people respond. T.S. Madison said, you don't get to dictate how I answer the door when you're knocking. And when you have gone around calling people on the left, lunatic liberals, pedophiles, people who hate this country, people who, unpatriotic, un-American, when you say that we should all die, when you say that, F your feelings and all of that stuff, this is the response you get. And I am not saying it's right, because it absolutely is not right. But when you call my phone, you don't get to dictate how I answer that motherfucker. The fact that you were calling for us to lower the temperature and have unity and all of those things, which are things that the Democrats and liberals have been saying for years.
Mm-hmm.
We have been saying the reason that we don't like this man and the reason that we think he is a danger to this country are the things that he says. And you take that as the reason that you like him. You say that is the reason why you support him, because he's a straight shooter, because he's none of those things. He is a pathological liar. He has literally told you, people, do not believe the things that you see. Do not believe the things that you hear unless I tell you it is not true. And you have fallen for it hook, line, and sinker. And I don't know how to I don't know how to get anyone to on that side. I don't know how to get you to understand that you are being gaslit. I don't think that the attempt was staged. I'm just going to say it right there, and then we're going to get back into the RNC. But I think that what you have in Donald John Trump is the closest thing, and this is going to be hyperbolic. That is the closest thing to a demon. And then to turn around and nominate the least qualified VP pick since Sarah Palin. That means that you are 100% sure that you have won this election already. Because you're not picking somebody who's a little bit closer to the middle, who you can pick up those independents. You're not picking somebody who may have, be great with a demographic that you're a little soft on. You're sure you got this in the bag. And I've only watched very little of the RNC because my mental health is important to me. But from what I have seen, and there is somebody I'm going to call to the altar at the end of this, but by the way, I just want y'all to know that. That might be where the jokes come in because I got plenty of them. But it is you have spent so much time, and I will say this on both sides. We have all spent so much time demonizing the people on the other side. Whether you're Republican, conservative, liberal, any of that. There is the level of division between us is so, it's scary and it's gross to the point where I went to the movies the other day, and this is just, and I'm going to stop talking after this. I went to the movies the other day, and as you know, we all live in a red state, and I'm sitting there waiting for us to get our food, and this family comes in, and it's we're in Lee Summit, relatively middle class area, mostly white. And all I could think about while they were minding their business, perfectly lovely people. But there was a level of fear because it was a heterosexual white male with a trucker cap on, Don't know these people from Adam. But I was like, bet they voted for Trump. And I feel bad that that was my thought. That's where we've gotten. That I have to live in fear, or I feel like I have to live in fear of just people who are minding their business. Because I am a queer black man, non-binary individual, male presenting. I still misgender myself most of the time. It is what it is. Who is out, proud of who I am, and that I titled this Vote Like My Life Depends on It. Because in a lot of ways it does. And somebody else talk, because
So, going back to or switching our gears to the RNC.
no,
Jada,
you're right. Going back.
No. It's more of a I'm going to get us out of this as much as I can and try to get these jokes coming because we're all funny individuals. You two are. I try, but but have either of you watched any of the RNC?
Very little of it.
No, but I heard that it was sponsored by Poise.
Well played. Well played.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah, and depends. Yeah. But you had this. Basically, everyone who has taken that stage. I haven't watched all of it. I've just caught clips here and there. But everyone that has taken that stage is just continuing to push the whole. The left is evil. We are going to make America great again. And I mean, if you've got something that dumb, just stick with it. I still have yet to have one group of people give me a specific date that they're all referencing. I don't know how the most powerful nation in the world, both military and economically, are not the greatest country, but which I could go into a tear about the definition of a great country and how we don't rank that highly, but that's a different discussion.
Please don't get that
but
started.
but you have all of these people going up on stage, and by and large, it has just been a generalized circle jerk for the right, and there's been key moments that have just been, and one of those was Marjorie Taylor Greene getting up there on stage and getting to speak and then do whatever the hell she was doing in between her pauses to let people clap, which basically boiled down, for anyone that hasn't seen it, to she'd make a grand point, pause, weird smile. That kind of a noise was coming out of her in between every pause. It just popped up. I don't know if it was the Botox forcing it out of her face or what, but there was something that was happening in that person, and
creature.
The creature within. And the Daily Show cracked a joke about it that I loved. It was basically like, keep it. Her inner voice was like, "Keep it together, Marjorie. I know the space lasers are out there, but we'll talk about that later." Like, there were moments where it just looked creepy, and it just reinforced in my mind how much that woman is just up there to gain more spotlight on her ridiculousness as a person. But the thing that I think we can all come back to, and is absolutely amazing, I think this is the first time ever a president has named their nominee for the vice presidency at the RNC. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's right. He announced it on Truth Social 3 hours before the event. Did you know that?
Mhm.
Mm.
How much of a schmuck do you have to be like, I tweeted my relationship before I made it public. Like, you're the fucking president, and that's how you're going to get the word out that the junior senator from
Candidate.
Ohio, because he went there, he won his race as a never Trumper. That's what got him into office. He was a
No,
never
that's not
Trumper.
quite true. So here's
Okay,
here's how,
give me some of it.
here's how that went down. So when he ran
Yep.
when he ran for the primary, he ran as a never Trumper.
Mm.
That is true. He did swing
He
into
won
the
the
Trump
primary
camp.
because he had Peter Thiel walked him into a meeting with Donald Trump.
Mm.
Yep.
When he came out of that meeting, he had, like a tick, attached himself to Donald Trump's left nutsack and proceeded to just get to sucking.
Yep.
And that is how he won. If you listen to
That's
things he
true.
said
Mm.
before, it was Donald Trump is a threat to democracy.
Yerk.
I can't stand
And the
Donald
anime.
Trump. It's a terrible person. Met Donald Trump. Swung his opinion the other way. Donald Trump backed him and he won. That's true. I do remember it that way. But I still stand by the fact that he won his primary as a never Trumper. And then met him one time, and a man must have told him that he's going to give him this in 2 years, because
Probably.
he came out wanting to stump for him on every opportunity that he had. And that's our big thing. That's my big thing for this. The man has 2 years of high level government service. Before that, he failed to fight the opioid epidemic in Ohio and raise money for disadvantaged children. His corporation, or his nonprofit, fell apart. Now, a lot of nonprofits fail, sure, but the vice president of the United States should probably have a bigger resume. And then on top of that, his 2 years, has anyone heard anything that man has done in office?
I mean,
Either
other
of you?
than literally have his mouth firmly planted on the inside of Donald Trump's asshole, like on the inside, like he's
centipeding. It's fine, but that's the world that Donald Trump lives in. Is he's just trying to be the front of the centipede train.
Pretty much, yeah.
But essentially, he came out, he started stumping for him, and he's now elected or nominated and supported as the VP for the president of the United States for the Republican Party, with zero evidence that he can run anything with a man who's about to turn 80. Like, at least, and the only thing, and this, you said that he has zero benefit to drag the demographic. He has one demographic that he can latch onto and that they're going to try to pull in: Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Mm.
That is the entire reason he is the vice president for Donald Trump. If you really look at it, Donald Trump is banking on the idea that he grabbed the senator for Ohio, a up-and-coming star who hasn't done a damn thing. But that's the reason why he's there, is because he believes that grabbing him from a swing state, which is mostly voted red, next to an actual determining factor for this presidency, he's hoping that he can have him stomp around Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan to draw in the voters that he needs to win. That's it. That's all he is. He is there to get Donald Trump reelected. That's it.
Everyone's just a pawn in his game, really.
Oh, 100%. He uses everyone. We've established that.
Everyone.
But
useful idiot is what comes to mind when I think of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of
an empty shirt.
Well,
speaking of useful idiots, hold on before we go any further, since we're still talking about the RNC. Amber Rose, bring your ass to the front of the congregation right now. Here we go, because I'm ready to do it. Now listen. Black people are not a monolith. But I want you to understand that you are a useful idiot to these people. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care anything about what you have to say. All they know is, as far as they're concerned, you are a black woman who happens to be famous for whatever you're famous for, who is on the Trump train. And I understand that you tell yourself that you are not black, you are biracial. And you are absolutely able to do that. As an American citizen, you can call yourself whatever you want to. But you came here. You came to the fame that you are in. And the only reason that they even give a fuck that you're there is on the black culture, black people. And you have the nerve and the temerity and the unmitigated motherfucking gall to have all of us who have to go to Jocelyn fucking Hernandez and apologize to the Puerto Rican princess because you have decided to tell you don't want to be black. And that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it is what it is. Those people who you are talking to at the RNC do not see you as a biracial girl. They see you as a black stripper. You are a useful idiot to those people. Just like Stacey Dash was a useful idiot to those people. Just like Omarosa was a useful idiot to those people. You are just another in a long line of useful idiots. Just like Tim Scott, useful idiot.
Yep.
Herman Cain.
Listen, they killed that motherfucker.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, well, that's the reason that JD Vance is the vice president chick, because Herman Cain's dead, so it couldn't be.
Yeah,
he was actually promised the VP slot.
Herman Cain was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the other thing about that is crazy as shit is that Tim Scott did all of that stumping and all that talking and shucking and jiving and giving the old Bojangle for Donald Trump, and they still didn't pick him because he don't want you. He don't like you. He don't like none of y'all. So you got your ass, Amber Rose, on that stage with that tattoo on your head, looking like a crown of thorns, and you shucked and jived for those people on that stage who don't give a fuck about you. Half of them didn't even know who you were. Did you realize, ma'am? Did you realize, and you didn't even correct it, that on the stage behind you, they called Amber Rose a rapper? They don't know who you are, bitch.
Oh, that's what Wiki calls her. American model and rapper.
She has never been a rapper. I want you to name one song Amber Rose been on.
Give me a minute. She's
that
on
she wasn't
Spotify.
Just a background dancer.
She's on Spotify for what?
Let's see what she's on Spotify for. Oh, yeah, she's got some songs. She has 4 singles.
And
Oh God!
okay.
Name
And I
one of them that
guarantee you,
either of
all
us
of
would
them
have a
drive
chance to
triple
understand.
plexiglass.
Okay, here. Out of the three of us,
GYHO, Freak Show, Surprise Me, and Gotcha. Yep, that sounds about like this.
those titles sum her up in a goddamn bubble.
And but again, you made your career on the backs of Black people. You are who you are because of the very culture that you now deny. Because you have said on multiple occasions that you are not Black. And once again, you went to Joy Reid. Joy Reid read your ass in front of everybody on Monday night. And she said, I don't know what they think it's going to do, but I don't think it's going to move the needle. And so you tweeted, I never said I'm not Black. I said I'm biracial. Lady, we have the tape where someone said, you don't consider yourself Black? You said, no, I'm not Black. I'm biracial. My father's white. And again, you can say that. But those people in the audience and those people on the television who are watching who do not know who you are saw a Black woman. If you were walking down the street, regardless of how blonde your hair was, you are a Black woman. Listen, I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. It's going to sound rude, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I liked you better when Kanye wouldn't let you speak.
Shit.
That was before she met the Wiz.
Yeah. Sometimes the fool is the person who opens their mouth and removes all doubt.
When you were just pretty, because believe me, I was on the Amber Rose train. I thought she was gorgeous, pretty. She did man, you organized the slut walk.
What the fuck does her tattoo say?
I'm a dumbass.
No, like let's jump on that real quick about the slut walk. You organized the slut walk, and you are stumping for the RNC? What the fuck is wrong with you?
You are stumping for a man who has been convicted of sexual assault. Sorry, not convicted. You have been found liable for sexual assault, which in the state of New York is tantamount to rape.
Civil case did actually find him civilly liable for sexual assault. Just want to prove that point too as well. That was years ago. He actually was found guilty civilly of sexual assault and sexual misconduct.
Which the judge in that case said he raped her.
Yep.
And this is who. This is the man that you decided you're going to put it all on the line for. How big was the check? That's all I want to know. How much was the check? Did the babies not have didn't have enough to get no Pampers? Was Bash asking for did Bash a school call? Did they need this? Was there some field trips you couldn't pay for? What is going on? How much was the check? That's what I need to know. How much was your soul? Because there's absolutely no way that you can tell me that the same person who was walking around, who organized a slut walk, the same person who was on the cover of all of these magazines with your whole coochie at, is the same person who was on that stage in a white dress, looking like the craziest thing walking in here. Mind you, beautiful. I'll give you that. You looked good, but you looked crazy. Stumping for a convicted felon and an adjudicated rapist. I'm sorry, I just don't understand it. And that's it for me.
Well, I got someone to bring down.
Bring them on down.
American Rounds. Does anyone know about this?
Go for it.
All right, so there is this vending machine company called American Rounds, and they will be putting ammunition vending machines in the great states of Alabama, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Let them shoot them all. Let them all go.
These will be featured in supermarkets, so now you don't even have to load up your gun before you're going to go on a mass shooting. You can just get your bullets right there. And they're going to be using, it says, the distributor of the machines uses AI technology to scan the customer's identification as well as facial recognition software. Well, I hope they can detect moods and things like that to know when people might be kind of crazy. And maybe you shouldn't be giving them rounds. But yeah, and then they'll use that to confirm their identity. But yes, the list of ammunition is really quite terrifying. Firearm calipers, including rifles, shotguns, and handguns.
Might as well be a full service station if you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Just let them buy a gun from the vending machine. Shit. If we're gonna,
I'm like, what the fuck is this, Grand Theft Auto?
If we're going to do, like,
is this how Cyberpunk goes from 2077 to 2025?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
I want everybody that can hear the sound of this voice from now and into perpetuity to ask yourself, is this the country that you want to leave to your children?
As one of those people, the answer is no. A giant no. Whenever I can walk into a Walmart and buy any type of long rifle ammunition, but I have trouble because I can't find fucking baby formula. Where the hell am I living? Where the hell am I living? If you can go in and buy shotgun rounds and a computer is supposed to scan my card and verify that the card is me, and that's as far as it goes. And I don't know what limits they have on purchasing ammunition, but if there's not really a good one, i.e. none, then, and I can go in and get that out of a vending machine, but I can't get basic necessities. I can't afford to get food, but hey, I got $20 on me, might as well buy myself another 9mm stack. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? This is the Second Amendment, is the United States that I get to leave to my 5-year-old. What the absolute fuck is wrong with this country?
And it's really kind of funny because someone has told me that they're like that I've talked to before, a friend of mine, they were like, yeah, the thing about the Second Amendment is it's the right to bear arms. It doesn't say the right to have bullets. If you restrict the access to bullets, you have essentially created gun control without all the red tape of the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And here we can get it in a fucking vending machine.
You know what? I didn't want to get into a Second Amendment conversation today. But you know what? Here we are. And so fuck it. Here we go. because I'm on 10 right now. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it.
I was about to say, you want to wrap up? You want us to wrap up in the 5 minutes, or do you want us to wrap up in
Nope.
35 minutes?
We're wrapping up
We
in
can
5.
definitely go down this freaking rabbit hole
We're gonna
because
wrap up at 5.
because we all live in red states. We already know that we can just stroll down the street and I literally had somebody who went down Cherokee Street and here in St. Louis, like coworker, and she said, I saw a guy walking around with an AK just over his shoulder, just carrying it around.
Yeah.
Perfectly legal. He didn't have a magazine in. Didn't mean it didn't have like 5 on him, but he didn't have one in the magazine or loaded in the rifle. So he's perfectly legal to walk around with a fucking long rifle that is a high enough caliber, because I'm a bit of a gun person, to know that a single shot that hits a bone can break right through a femur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. We are living in fucking Grand Theft Auto. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you people? You're willing to let people walk around to do that so that people can feel safer, but you aren't going to protect the kids at Sandy Hook? You aren't going to protect the kids at Uvalde? When a kid goes to school, and we'll fucking use Kansas City and a report that I heard at the Chiefs shooting. A family, the shots were fired. A family was freaking out, and their 12-year-old daughter had the training to tell them how they were supposed to get out of there. And you have 50-year-old parents. You're telling me that that's the future that we're building in this country? That isn't just a level of dystopia. That's a level of insanity, where a 12-year-old is educated not about what would 12th grade or 12-year-old, 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. They aren't learning their geometry, their algebra. They're learning about how best to avoid a mass shooter. That's the world that has been created by this sycophant level of zealots that have pushed for the Second Amendment to be held higher than the First. They're the absolute lunacy that has followed in the idea that the Second Amendment is somehow our highest right as individuals is the most disturbing thing in the last 40 years of this country. That we will fight and lobby to extend and build and make easier access to weapons, but we won't feed kids, where we have, 1 in 4 now? 1 in 5 kids aren't getting food at school. You don't want to feed the kids unless it's made of lead. That's insane. I love this country. First and foremost, let me be very clear about that. I love this country, but I fully expect it to do better. It can be better. We should all want it to be better, not just worrying about whether we can survive to the next day. But yeah, we're a fun and hilarious podcast about politics. We just have heavy topics that happen to pop up whenever lunacy occurs.
Yeah, this is not the normal podcast for us.
Yeah.
We normally have a lot more clowning, a lot more shenanigans, and a lot more queerness. But this one was definitely
it was our somberest one so far, but it was filled with
when I cussed out because
well, no, that was fantastic. But this whole thing was, and for everyone who watches us, know that we're always trying to lift spirits. We're always trying to have fun and poke fun at politics, because that's the nature of trying to find a way to communicate it to you when you need to be like, that's funny. Wait a minute. But when we look at this world right now and the potential future that the three of us face as various queer, non-binary, one of us a BIPOC individual, it should show you the state of this country. When people who try to find humor in every aspect of life and share it with you have to sit here for an hour and talk to you about our fears and our worries, that should tell you that something's wrong and we need to figure it out and make it better.
And on that note, anybody have any final thoughts? I mean, I felt like that was Take's final thought.
I'm going to say that I am not allowing myself to be terrified of this. I'm not allowing myself to be afraid of the situation because, quite frankly, I'm just beyond that. I know from 2001 what fear, how insidious that can be towards your psyche and making you susceptible to all kinds of persuasion. And I'm not going to go there. This is my country, and if someone wants to take me out because I'm living my best life and I'm being true to myself, then that's just the reality.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
At least
hide
I'll
who
die
I am.
authentic.
Yeah, I won't hide who I am. I mean, quite literally, I can't. For anyone who wants to take a photo of that for those future roundups, it's right there.
I wish I had the fortitude to not be afraid. Does that mean I'm going to be anything different than who I am right now? Because then they win. And one thing about me is I'm a stubborn motherfucker.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, are you? I can find humor at the end.
So no, you don't get to win.
Mm-mm.
If that means
Yep.
that I get rounded up and get a pink triangle put on me and or some Handmaid's Tale bullshit happens and I end up swinging from a light pole in the city. Okay.
In the words of Mama Carter, you can't break my soul.
And on that note, we are getting out of here.
We're done. That's the one. My somber note to the Mama Carter thing. We're good.
You won't break my soul.
Okay, guys. Remember, don't vote like your life depends on it. Vote like mine depends on it.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's scared out there, send us a message.
Yeah. Write a comment. Tell us what you feel. If you disagree with everything that we just said, write us a comment.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the disagreements. I want to hear the other side.
I had a great debate with someone on my personal Facebook page.
Yeah,
it was so funny. Yeah, because one of my friends was like, I think this person might be a bot. And I was like, no, sweetie.
Well, unfortunately, they're not.
I mean, yeah, they're not a bot. They are a person, or at least used to be.
Shame.
Just severely misguided / radicalized, like ISIS.
And espousing these feelings and say, never mind. Guys, We're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. We love you. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully in much better spirits, with much more joy and mirth for you. We just ain't got it today. So, good night.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, wait, no, cancel. Shit, what did I do? Stay. Here we go. I did it again.
There we go.